What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your host, the smoothest fingers in the gaming industry, man, ZAZ, bringing you back another video today. No gameplay commentary, no crazy edits. Today, we're going to get down to what it really means to talk about Halo Infinite's campaign. Now, again, you guys know me. Patience, patience, patience. All these reviews, everything that we're seeing is not going to affect my opinion. If you haven't been here through video game launches before, if you're new to the channel, please let me break this down for you just a little bit. I am here to give you patient reviews and patient impressions. What this means is that I will spend the maximum amount of time with the video game without getting, too crazy, right? Without going just absurd amounts. Some of you guys play video games for like 300 hours before you say judge the game. I'm not going to do that, all right? Whatever the consensus playtime is that most of the community agrees on, which for everything that I've seen so far is roughly about 16 to 20 hours to complete pretty much all the side missions and the main missions together. For me, that would be about 30 to 40 hours. I include or tack on 20 hours onto my patient impressions, and then I'm going to do another playthrough depending on what kind of game it is to really amp it up and to really clean up what I missed in the first playthrough. Point in case, Cyberpunk 2077, everybody said that game would be about 30 to 36 hours long, sometimes 40 depending on how you played. That game ended up being like a 73, 75 hour game for me. Now, this isn't just because that's how long the game takes, it's because I enjoy video games. I go and do stupid things, I go and I explore, I adventure, I try to do as much as possible. I'm not 100% completionist. I'm not going to try and go for 100% completionist unless there's some armor or some cool stuff behind it. But again, if you're not familiar with the way I do things, the way I break down games, that's how I do it. Now, let's set some expectations for this video game, and then let's also bring it down to reality. First things first, I expect this game to be a full $60 video game. I expect that, I am assured that, and if I don't get that, this will hurt the rating very, very much so, and you will hear me critique this video game for about as long as possible until the developers either hear us or two, the community is speaking about it loud enough that I no longer have to do this. I know a lot of people are going to say, what is a $60 video game? It's not about how long it takes to beat. It's not about the time played, mostly. However, I do like to say anything under about 15 hours in the rough grand scheme of things is not worth your $60, just because if you're going to play a game for $60, it either needs to A, offer a lot of replayability if it's under that time, or B, it needs to be enough longevity that it keeps you hooked for that long time span. Now, it could be like AC Odyssey and AC Valhalla, where it kind of runs dry and it gets stale. I've heard this game doesn't do that, but I'll judge it for myself. But again, there's a fine line that it needs to go with, and I say 15 to about 60 hours depending on the game. A lot of people say 60 is a lot pushing it, but Red Dead 2, I had no problem beating, and I love that game so much. Now, I also want to make this very clear that my expectations are nothing higher than what Halo has already set for itself. What Halo has done with its campaigns already is what I'm going to judge Infinite to. I'm going to judge it to some other first-person shooters as well here and there, but most importantly, I'm going to judge it to itself. Halo is the forefront of first-person shooters, and nothing else would be comparable for this game if it is truly a great game than compare it to the old days of Halo CE, Halo 2, Halo 3, and most importantly for some of you with the story, Halo Reach. Now, 4 and 5, I am not very familiar with. I did not play them on release date, so you won't hear me compare them as much as I'm comparing them now. I have never played Halo 5. I will never play Halo 5. That game is abysmal to me from all the reviews, all the gameplay I've seen. I will never play that game. Feel free to have your own opinion. However, I'm simply not going to do it, and I'm not going to debate it or talk about it. I do understand that some of this story and some of this campaign is connected to Halo 5. I have researched it. I know the story for Halo 5, but I'm just simply not going to play it because, one, I'm not going to go get an Xbox to play Halo 5, and two, I don't think Halo 5 is that good, especially with a 4-hour campaign. That is just absolutely abysmal for anything in any genre at all, especially Halo. Now, moving on, I want to bring some stuff to your reality and bring some things down with Halo Infinite. There are some people who are setting monumental expectations for this game, just like they did with Cyberpunk 2077. And number one, I want to talk about co-op. Now, I understand co-op is a core aspect of Halo. They have announced that they will be bringing co-op to this game in the future, but I really want to state that if this is a true open world or semi-open world, whatever you want to call it, how hard that would be for developers to be able to make co-op, and that will not hinder my review whatsoever. Open world, semi-open world games to get co-op done completely right is one of the hardest tasks, especially for a game developer who has never done it before and a series who has never done it before at all. Now, this is not excusing the fact that they probably should have delayed it, but again, we're going to judge the game based on its current state. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm going to be leaving co-op out of this. I know a lot of people have talked about co-op in their reviews, how excited they are for it. I will not be mentioning that either in my impressions or my reviews because I don't think it does the game justice. And if this is truly a new expansive Halo, which it seems like from all the gameplay that we've seen, I will be sticking just to that. Now, next thing I want to talk about is that this is still a video game. No matter how great this game does, it is not going to shatter the mold of what Halo has already done before simply because of nostalgia, and it's not going to shatter the mold of FPS simply because people have their expectations raised so high and the gaming industry has come so far, it will never be too crazy. The only games that I've seen in recent memory completely shatter everything of gamers' expectations has been Red Dead 2 and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. These games are just notorious for being the people who push the genre forward. They are also some of the biggest companies in the gaming industry. I'm not saying 343 and Microsoft aren't. I'm just saying that these guys are notorious for it, and Halo is also notorious for it as well. But at this point, all we need 343 to do is make a good Halo and build off the fundamentals of that Halo when it comes to campaign and even multiplayer as well. And last but not least, I will be bundling the multiplayer and the campaign together in Patient Impressions and in the Patient Review. This is for the fact that it is still a part of the same game. If you download the game, you will have both in the same essence. You will still have to download the same app, and we will be talking about that going forward. But my expectations simply for this game is for this game to be a really good Halo. I am not asking these guys to do a monumental task of creating the next best FPS of all time. That is too big of a task for a team who's had to struggle through the jab and COVID regulations and all that stuff, as well as dealing with a lot of issues and a lot of pushback with making it free to play, with doing an open world campaign. There's a lot here. And if their plan is to make a 10-year game, which I don't like when developers say that, and I don't like when they do that because we all seen what happened with Anthem, but if their goal is to do something sort of like Destiny, like, I would love nothing more than to see them completely make a great fundamental game out the rip, unlike Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, and then build upon that as we go forward. And I have nothing but hope and faith that they can do that, because 343 has shown with the MCC and Halo 4 and Halo 5 that over time they will flesh out these games. It would just be nice to see a full game off the launch and off the rip, and then build upon it later. But again, there are some fundamental ideas that have been reworked here that I will give them credit for in these impressions and in these reviews. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for my video. Short, sweet, simple. Thank you guys for watching the video. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the Halo Infinite campaign release. It feels like yesterday I was talking about Cyberpunk 2077 last year and all the stuff about that. I'll have my 1-year Cyberpunk 2077 video coming out soon as well. We will not forget about the legendary game of last year. I have not forgotten about that. I have not forgotten about Titanfall 3 either, for you hardcore supporters on this channel. I'm just really booked with Halo Infinite right now, and I'm really excited to play Halo Infinite today. I've been waiting on this game pretty much since Reach. I have not played a Halo campaign pretty much since Reach, to be honest with you, and I didn't play 5 at all, you know, and I really didn't play the campaigns. I didn't have time to play them. I had to, you know, kind of research the story, but I will get to those. We will play those. I will still do those at a later date, but I'm really excited to see this. I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to play this. I can't wait to get into this. All these reviews that I'm seeing look phenomenal. They look great. It's like a lot of excitement for Halo. It hasn't been this way since I was in middle school. That's crazy, dude. I'm like 24 years old at this point. That was like 14 years ago. It's been so long since Halo has been on the map again. I'm just excited to see the series just be back in the forefront again. So I am excited for this. It's Halo Day, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy it. I know some of you guys will be playing Warzone. We may talk about that. We may not talk about that. But again, we'll leave that for another topic and another discussion. Bless up. As always, God bless. Most importantly, Yeshua saves. We will be bringing some Yeshua into this content as usual. And I'll see you guys in the next Halo Infinite video.